A Tulsa police officer is being treated for a leg injury following a foot chase and standoff earlier today that happened near 11th and South Memorial. Police tell 2 News Oklahoma that a man violated a protective order his estranged partner filed against him just this morning. 2 News Oklahoma reporter Caitlin Rivas is live at the apartment complex for us. Caitlin.
Good evening, Karen. It all started around 10 o'clock this morning. Good evening, Karen. It all started about 10:30 this morning. Now the scene is quiet now. Police tell me they do believe that suspect is still inside this apartment complex. Police were called here to the Cove on Memorial Apartments about 10:30 this morning on 12th and Memorial because they say a man was violating a protective order. They tell me after they escorted him off the property once, he came back, and when they went to talk to him, he ran off.
We verified proof of the service and tried to make contact with him. He ran from us, and one of the officers that was giving chase received what we believe is a pretty significant leg injury, and the other officer attempted to pepper spray him without effect on him.
After the suspect was pepper sprayed, police say he went back into the apartment. Police say the woman who had filed the protective order against him was not in the apartment anymore.
The good thing is time is on our side, and we'll take as much time as we need to make sure that even though we're trying to get a suspect in custody, his safety is just as important as our own safety. So we'll continue to take our time and make sure that we can effect an arrest that will allow him to safely be placed into custody.
Captain Toole says they don't believe the suspect had any weapons in the apartment. Captain Toole tells me when the officer was injured, he heard "officer down" on the radio, and he says that was very scary, but he's happy to know that he was being treated at the hospital for a non-life-threatening leg injury. We've reached out to police on whether or not this man has been taken into custody or if he is still in this apartment. We are still waiting to hear back. Reporting live in Tulsa, Caitlin Rivas, 2 News, Oklahoma.
New at 5, a Broken Arrow mother is fighting to change the state's protective order statute after her son was killed just days after filing a protective order. That order was denied by a judge. The person accused of killing him was the one he was seeking protection from. 2 News Oklahoma's Katie Kelleher shares her message for change. Katie?
Maureen Bucheri's son, Paul Stephen Bernius, was shot and killed at his Broken Arrow home in September. The suspect was his tenant, someone he claimed caused him multiple problems. Bernius filed a protective order against the suspect, Cody O'Brien, 2 days before he was killed. O'Brien was arrested the day after the shooting and charged with first-degree murder. The protective order, which was denied by a judge, detailed multiple incidents where Bernius felt threatened by O'Brien. His mother says her son was afraid of O'Brien, and now she's hoping to change the state's protective order statute.
He'll never see his sons married. He'll never see a grandchild. It's not right. It's not right. And this law needs to be changed. It absolutely has to be changed so nobody has to go through this.
Right now, the state's protective order primarily applies to instances of domestic violence between partners, not necessarily roommates. So Bucheri started an online petition to expand the definition so people like her son can be protected. And we'll have a link to that petition on our website, kjrh.com. And coming up at 6, hear more from Bucheri and her fight to change in honor of her son. Katie Kelleher, 2 News Oklahoma.
Thank you, Katie. The emergency room at Oklahoma State Medical Center in Tulsa is back open this evening. It had to be closed temporarily this morning after a biohazard scare. The Tulsa Fire Department tells us a man walked into the ER with a glove he said was filled with ricin and that someone was trying to hurt him with the poison. The man was inside the ER for about 10 minutes and then left, taking the glove and an unknown substance with him. Tulsa Fire cleaned the area as a precaution while medical workers checked ER patients and staff. OSU Medical says police do have a suspect in custody and that he did not have biohazardous material. Well, Tulsa police hope that these surveillance pictures will help lead them to a suspected porch pirate. They're looking for this woman, whom officers call a person of interest in a string of home burglaries in East Tulsa. Detectives believe the woman has taken packages from numerous porches and leaves in a dark-colored 4-door car. If you recognize the woman or the car, call Crime Stoppers. The number is 918-596-COPS. Well, we are learning some new details about that deadly wreck near 126th and South Memorial in Bixby. Police responded to a head-on crash just before 7:30 last night. They arrived to find one driver, 61-year-old Robert Brook, had died in the crash. The other driver, 46-year-old Beth Heisley, was taken to the hospital where she passed away. The crash closed Memorial for hours, and police tell us they're still investigating the cause. And we're following a developing story out of Oxford Township, Michigan, where authorities say 3 students were killed in a high school shooting. The undersheriff says the 15-year-old gunman is in custody. 8 other people, including a teacher, were hurt. Investigators say they don't know the teen's motive, and they are not aware of any prior threats. We're told the suspect was not hurt, and he refused to tell authorities how he got the gun into school. The undersheriff said they recovered a semi-automatic handgun and several clips when they took the teen into custody. With the COVID variant Omicron now showing up in 20 countries, the hunt for it here in the U.S. is underway, and so far, no cases have been detected. However, the nation's top health experts expect that to change soon, and they're urging people to get vaccinated, and for those fully vaccinated to get booster shots. With just 60% of the nation fully vaccinated, the chair of the Federal Reserve is warning about the effects a new wave could have on the economy.
Greater concerns about the virus could reduce people's willingness to work in person, which would slow progress in the labor market and intensify supply chain disruptions.
The White House will release plans to head off a winter surge Thursday. It will involve testing and vaccinations. The president said new lockdowns are not on the table. Well, tomorrow the U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear a potentially landmark abortion rights case. Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization might go down in history. The case out of Mississippi challenges the constitutionality of a 2018 state law there that bans most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. For years, the Supreme Court hasn't allowed states to restrict abortions that early, ruling that bans could only be passed after the fetus is viable, which is usually around 24 weeks. If the court rules in favor of Mississippi's law, a pro-abortion rights group predicts 26 states, including Oklahoma, are certain or likely to ban abortions. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford joined several of his Republican colleagues to speak out ahead of tomorrow's oral arguments on the Mississippi case. Lankford told reporters there is precedent for justices to re-examine issues and come to a different conclusion than previous rulings. He pointed to the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education ruling, which partially reversed the Supreme Court's decision in Plessy versus Ferguson 5 decades earlier.
I believe this court will take up the legal argument, will take up the scientific examination, and will re-look at Roe v. Wade in a whole new way, and will return this country to what it was pre-1973, where each state made their own decisions to be able to protect the lives of every single child.
Many women's rights organizations say this issue is about protecting women's rights. It could be late spring, though, before the nation's highest court rules, but a decision could come more quickly, given the justices also need to rule on a Texas law that restricts abortions at 6 weeks.
Now, your 2 News Oklahoma First Forecast, sponsored by Executive Homes.
Well, we've been tracking a few showers across southeastern Kansas. Meanwhile, here in northeast Oklahoma, it's been dry and warm once again. Taking a look at dual Doppler, some showers in southeastern Kansas, southwest Missouri. Those are not going to have any impact on us. We do expect dry weather to continue through the remainder of the evening. Right now, it's very mild, 66 in the metro. McAllister, 69. Bartlesville coming in at 60. Coffeyville, a little bit of a cooler temperature in the upper 50s. We have a boundary that's hanging out across the region. North of it a little cooler, south of it a little warmer. But if you're going outside this evening, again, no major impacts as far as weather is concerned in our area. Clear skies throughout the 10 o'clock hour with temperatures dropping back down into the lower 50s. We are tracking some unseasonably warm weather. I'll update you on that with your 10-day forecast coming away in 10 minutes.
But the Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation may have made a medical breakthrough. They tell us an existing medicine for drug overdose may have a second life-saving benefit as a treatment for the most common heart valve disease called aortic stenosis. The findings still need to be confirmed in a clinical trial. Now, aortic stenosis affects more than 20% of older Americans. It's caused primarily by age and made worse by a high-fat diet. The only treatment right now is a valve replacement surgery. A unique coffee shop that helps people with disabilities opened today in Broken Arrow. 2 News Oklahoma's Amanda Slee visited Not Your Average Joe for their grand opening to tell us more about their story.
Not Your Average Joe is a non-profit coffee shop run like a business. What makes them unique is their mission to employ those with special needs. Not Your Average Joe's business model is to make their employees feel included and help them with life skills beyond making coffee. They learn things like customer service, technology, math, and all in an energetic, fun atmosphere.
80% of adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities are unemployed after high school. So 80%. So every time we open a shop, we're able to provide 8 to 12 jobs for adults with special needs. And so now this is our 5th location. And so we have 40 plus adults with special needs employed now, and that's incredible.
This new location opened with lots of support from the community. The small shop was packed with people shoulder to shoulder as they cut the ribbon. The coffee shop is located in Emerson Orthodontics and is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. with offerings of coffee, refreshers, smoothies, and so much more. In Broken Arrow, Amanda Slee, 2 News Oklahoma.
Thanks, Amanda. Great to see that. Well, the next class of Tulsa Police Academy is about to graduate. The department sent us these pictures of the rookies going through some rigorous situational exercises. The scenarios are based on TPD's most common calls and range from active listening and de-escalation to responding to robberies and burglaries. If you're interested in a career with the Tulsa Police Department, check out jointpd.com. Local nonprofits hope that you're in a giving mood today. Ahead at 5, how one organization uses your donations to help put fresh food on Tulsa tables. Plus, how buying one particular Christmas ornament can help support a group working to put the Oklahoma governor's mansion in a positive light.
With many of us shopping online for the holidays, we're expecting packages to be delivered. So if you receive an email or text with information about your order, you may not think twice before clicking the link. I'm 2 News Oklahoma problem solver Pete Knutson. Coming up at 6, find out how that link could be a gateway to your personal information and passwords as we count down the 12 scams of Christmas.
All right, thank you, Pete. Now, if you've been on social media at all today, you know it is Giving Tuesday. It's a national day of giving, which falls on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. 2 News Oklahoma reporter Brady Halblad met up with one Tulsa group hoping that today's giving will help them provide fresh produce to those who don't have easy access to a grocery store.
I'm here at a community garden for Food on the Move. This is just one of many of them that are actually scattered across the city. They're an organization that helps provide fresh produce for those that live in a food desert. That's an area where people have limited access to a variety of healthy foods, usually found in lower income neighborhoods. Food on the Move has been serving Tulsa since 2014, and they still have a lot of work to do. And that's why today they are looking for volunteers and monetary donations so they can help even more people. They hope to raise $10,000 to replenish their food supply to get them through the winter season.
20% of kids in Tulsa, they're food insecure. And man, when you're food insecure, it hinders your learning style, your abilities, and things like that. We want to get this food to kids so they can eat, families can be healthy, they can get together and eat together, and just have a trajectory to be successful.
In just a half hour, Food on the Move will host its monthly block party at the Greenwood Cultural Center, giving away fresh produce and much needed items. Now you can still help a lot of other local organizations that need your help. We'll have a list of those on our website, kjrh.com. In Tulsa, Brady Halblad, 2 News Oklahoma.
Good to see that effort there. Thank you, Brady. Well, in honor of Tuesday, Giving Tuesday, I should say, Friends of the Mansion is offering a way to give twice. The nonprofit is encouraging Oklahomans to buy their annual state holiday ornament. Not only could it be a nice gift, but the money from the sales helps preserve and promote the governor's mansion. This year's ornament is 2 scissor-tailed flycatchers, our state bird, perched on a Christmas wreath. You can buy one at select stores or at the Friends of the Mansion website. And each one, by the way, costs $15.
Now, your 2 News Oklahoma weather, sponsored by Executive Homes.
All right, you're looking at really mild conditions across the United States for the last day of November. I mean, if you were to show me this map a couple of months ago and said, hey, pick out which date this could be, I would say this is more like October than what we're dealing with in the end of November. With some chilly air to the northeast of us, New York City, Baltimore, they've been chilly for the past week or so, and into the Rockies, but that's it. I mean, Phoenix still warm, Dallas 73, Houston in the lower 70s. We reached 70 degrees for our official high today, normal highs in the mid-50s, so we are well above that, and we are going to remain well above that for the 4 to 5 day period. Now, next week, will start to return close to normal, and it will feel cool compared to where we've been this week. Since that time, temperatures have dropped off as the sun sets. Right now it's 66 here in the metro. Bartlesville coming at 60, a little cooler in Coffeyville at 58, and McAllister at 69 degrees. So a nice warm afternoon. Again, normal high in the mid-50s. We're going to